Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name, after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
Right. Take your time as you come down onto your mat in constructive rest. And then even as you come down, you're going to start to notice and assess, like, how does your body feel just coming down into a reclined position? Because if this is not the right position for you, then you might choose to put a pillow underneath your upper body to create a little bit more of an inclined plane so that the upper body feels a little bit more elevated. And then once you're settled on the ground, if you can, hands gently resting on the soft tissue of your abdomen. We're just going to take a couple nice deep breaths, but before we even get into paying attention to the breath, you're going to take those last little wiggles and adjustments so that you feel like you can reduce as much efforting as possible. And then you're going to invite softness into any place that doesn't need to effort. So notice if there's any places where you're still kind of holding a little bit of muscle tension or gripping or just a sense of tightness or holding on. Can you invite softness into those places? And then within that softness, as you take an exhale, you're just going to let your body get a little bit softer and a little bit heavier into the ground. And then in this soft, heavy position, you're going to let your awareness or your imagination come down to the soles of your feet. So you're going to notice your feet connected to, maybe you'll feel the texture of your yoga mat. Maybe you'll notice, especially if you have carpet underneath your yoga mat, you'll notice that sort of soft, squishy place that exists between your soles of your feet and the solidness of the floor underneath the padding of the yoga mat and the carpet. And then see if you can take a breath and imagine that your breath is breathing down to your feet. Of course, we breathe into our lungs and our rib cage, but we're going to imagine that we're sending the breath down to our feet. And then as you exhale, the soles of your feet are going to get soft and heavy into the softness of your yoga mat and the carpet underneath you. And then we're going to stay with that awareness at our feet. And you're just going to notice the place where your shoelaces would be. Not wearing shoes, but just notice the idea of where your shoelaces would be. Take a breath into the space where your shoelaces would be. And then as you exhale, you're just going to imagine that the tops of your feet are melting down into the soles of your feet. And then everything gets heavy down into the ground. And now you're going to let your awareness travel up just a little bit further. So you're going to notice the fronts of your shins. Think shin bones and the muscles on the inside and the outsides of the shin bones. Take a breath. Imagine that you're breathing into your shin bones. And then as you exhale, the muscles around your shin bones are going to melt down to your shoelaces, down to the soles of your feet, and then down into the ground. And now you're going to let your awareness come up to your knees. And especially if you're in constructive rest and your knees are touching, you're going to notice first the space where your knees are touching. Notice, does it feel soft or hard, warm or cool? There's no right or wrong, just notice. And then you're going to imagine that you're sending your breath to the place where your knees are touching. But when you breathe into that space, the breath is going to expand around the kneecaps and maybe even into the back of your knee pits. And then as you exhale, your exhale is going to soften from your knees down your shins to your shoelaces, all the way to the soles of your feet. And now we're going to switch our point of awareness on our knees. So imagine your knee caps or the topmost point of your knees. We're going to breathe into the topmost point of the knees. And now as we exhale, we're going to let the exhale come down the front of the thighs. And now we're going to shift our awareness to the tops of your thighs or fronts of your thighs. Notice if there's any gripping or holding or tension in the muscles in your thighs. Could you let them be soft? And now could you imagine that you're breathing into your thighs, but think front to back, side to side. So you're just breathing into your whole thighs, letting it expand just a little bit with your imagination. And then as you exhale, your thighs are going to get heavy towards your hips all the way down to the ground. And now let your awareness travel to your hips. So we're going to think about the hips as like just one whole connected unit, front, side, back of the hips. So front of the hip points, side of your bum, back of your bum, any place that you can imagine up to be what you would consider your hips. There's no right or wrong there. But now we're going to breathe into the unit of our hips. Think front to back, side to side. Just take a nice full expansive breath with your imagination into your hips. And then as you exhale, hips are going to get soft and heavy into the ground. And now let your awareness travel up to your abdomen. So think soft tissue of the belly, belly button, soft tissue of your belly, side of your belly, and then the low back area. And now we're going to breathe into that container. So think front to back, side to side, breathe into the belly. And then as you exhale, that whole unit is going to get soft and heavy into the ground. And now breathe into the rib cage. Think front to back, side to side, nice full expansive breath. And here you can skip the imagination and just really fully breathe and expand into your rib cage. Exhale nice and slow. Let the backs of your ribs and the front of your rib get heavier towards the ground. And now we're going to stay with that breath in the rib cage, but when you breathe, you're going to expand it up to the collarbones a little bit. So breathe expansively into your rib cage, a nice full breath, but on the edge of your breath, you're going to find that expansion in the collarbones. And then exhale as slow as you can. Collarbones get soft, rib cage gets soft and heavy into the ground. And now the sense of breath awareness is going to come up into the armpits. So you're going to imagine that you're breathing into the rib cage, but your breath is going to expand out into your armpits. And then as you exhale, your armpits are going to get soft and heavy. And now we're going to breathe from the armpits down the arms to the fingers. So imagine your breath is coming into the armpits all the way down to the fingers. Exhale, fingers and armpits and arms get nice and soft and heavy. And then for our last imagination of breath, we're going to imagine that we're breathing into the front of the neck and the throat. And then we'll breathe expansively front to back, side to side into the throat, but it will follow down into the rib cage. So breathe into your throat and then down into the rib cage. Exhale, throat and the back of the neck get soft and heavy, and then the rib cage follows. And now we're just going to start to gently move the head and the neck. So you're going to start to turn your head gently from side to side, nothing extreme. Just allow the back of your head to massage against the floor and allow a light and gentle sense of movement to come into your cervical spine. And then even as you move here, if you started to pick up tension anywhere, tension between the eyes or tension in your jaw, go a little bit slower so you can soften anything that will allow for that space of softness. Take one more turn of your head from side to side and then bring your head back to center. And now we're just going to pick up our hands away from our abdomen and just twinkle your fingers. Just roll them in and out. Just go super small and super gentle. And then as you roll your fingers in and out just a little bit, you might notice a slightly deeper breath comes into your body. And if you notice or feel that slightly deeper breath, then start to twinkle your toes as well. And then if you've got your toes and your fingers twinkling, now we're going to take it into the wrists and the ankles. So you're going to twinkle your fingers, twinkle your toes, move your wrists a little bit, move your ankles, but just a little bit. It doesn't need to be extreme. It's just an organic movement. It doesn't need to be specific, and it can be one at a time, and then you can vary it up. So there's no right or wrong. You can't mess this one up, but see if you can notice as you start to move here, notice if you feel a slightly deeper breath come into your body. All right, and now we're going to take our arms and just stretch them up above your head and think big good morning stretch, but just your arms are going to take that nice yawning stretch. Allow a little bit of a lift and expansion in the rib cage, a little bit of a shoulder shrug. So there's not a lot that needs to happen here, but just lengthen and reach through your arms, through your fingers. Take another big expansive inhalation. And then as you exhale, hands are going to float down to whatever position. I like anatomical position, so about 45 degrees away from the side of the body, but you'll position them in a way that feels just right to you. And then we're going to walk the feet in a little bit closer so that now there's a little space between the knees. Legs are about hip width distance apart and heels are a little bit closer to the butt. Once you've got your way there, you're going to inhale, lift your toes and spread your toes. Exhale and float your toes back down. Inhale, lift your toes and spread your toes. Exhale, float your toes back down. Inhale, lift your toes and spread your toes. Exhale, float your toes down. And now we're going to lift the heels. So inhale, lift your heels gently away from the ground. Exhale, float them back down. Inhale, lift your heels up. Exhale, float them back down. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, float them back down. And now we're going to lift toes and the balls of the feet. Inhale, lift your toes, lift the balls of your feet. Exhale, float them back down. Inhale, lift your toes and the balls of your feet. Exhale, float them back down. Inhale, lift the toes and the balls of your feet. Exhale to float them back down. And now we're going to alternate between the two. So you're going to inhale, lift your toes and the balls of your feet. Exhale, float them down. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, float them down. Inhale, lift your toes and the balls of the feet. Exhale, float them down. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, float them down. One more time through. Inhale, lift your toes and the balls of your feet. Exhale, float them down. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, float them down. Hands are going to flip, so palms are facing down, and maybe you'll slide your hands in a little bit closer. It just depends on how you like to frame your upper body for this. We're going to move it into pelvic tilt. So as you exhale, press your low back into the ground. Inhale, release to the natural curve of your back. Exhale, press your low back down and release to the natural curve of your back. Press your low back down. Release to the natural curve of your back, and then find a sort of in-between space. So not pressing the back down, but not finding the deep curve of the back. So somewhere a little bit in between. And now we're going to take our hands and pull them into little tiny fists or tiger paws. And then we're going to start from the upper right quadrant of the abdomen over to the left, down left, and then over to the right. So we're going to make that nice little, think of it as a little bit of a square. So we're going to go upper right, upper left, down left, over to the right. And then you're just going to draw that square around your abdomen with your little tiger paws. So it should be a gentle dragging motion. We want to feel like we're gently moving across the skin, gently feel, maybe you'll feel your fabric of your clothes more than anything, getting a little bit of movement. And then see here, can you create a sense of softness anywhere else where there's no need for effort? So your arms are doing a little bit of work. Your abdominal muscles might be doing a little bit of work to hold that shape of not pressing down, but not the deep curve of the natural curve of your back. So there's a subtle space in between, and you might feel there's a slight engagement of the abdominal muscles, but can you soften the space between your eyebrows? Can you soften your jaw? Go for about 3 more squares or circly motions around the abdomen. And then once you've done about 3 more, we're going to release the hands back down to the ground, and we're going to do little rolling bridges. So on an exhale, you're going to curl your tailbone up, roll up into a little baby bridge. It doesn't need to be extreme, and then roll right back down. So think upper back, middle back, low back touches down. And then on your exhale, curl up the tailbone, lift up into a little bridge. It doesn't need to be super high. And then roll right back down the spine. And then do that one more time. Curl up the tailbone, lift your butt up. It doesn't need to be extreme. Roll your way back down nice and slow and controlled. And then this time as you come down, gently pull your knees up towards your heart space and then hold on to your knees. Draw your knees in circles. Circle in one direction. Go for about 2 more circles around, and then we're going to reverse directions and go the other way. All right, so if you're not already there, circle in the other direction and then just notice. This should be a nice gentle maneuver, but notice how your back feels. Go for one more little light and gentle circle around, and then pull your right knee in towards your heart. Let your left leg go nice and long, but let the left leg go all the way down to the ground. And then once it's found the ground, notice just that little bit of compression. Think where your right front pocket of your jeans would be. See if you can imagine that you're breathing into that space. So take a nice big expansive breath, breathing into the front pocket of your jeans. Exhale nice and slow. Inhale, breathe into the front pocket of your jeans. Exhale nice and slow. Do that one more time. Inhale, breathe into the front pocket of your jeans. Exhale nice and slow. And now we're going to just anchor the left leg. So we want the left leg to feel like it's kind of holding the body in place just a little bit. And now with the left leg anchored, you're going to pass the right leg from side to side. So you're going to pass it into your right hand. Maybe it comes a little outside of the rib cage, and then pass it over the left hand so it comes slightly across the midline of the body. So it's a little bit of intentional movement, but the left leg is going to keep us anchored so we're not rocking around too much. All right, now the next time it passes over to the left, stay there. Breathe into the right front pocket of your jeans. A nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Bring it back to center, and then we're going to release and switch. So right leg is going to go nice and long. Left leg is going to come in. First, start by letting the right leg be a little bit soft and relaxed. So reduce as much efforting as possible there. And then with a little bit of a squeeze or compression in that left front pocket of your jeans, imagine that you're sending the breath there. Breathe into the left front pocket of your jeans. Exhale nice and slow. 2 more cycles of breath there. And now we're going to anchor into our right leg. So right leg's going to get a little bit more solid on the ground. And then once you've got your right leg anchored, now start to pass the left leg from one hand to the other. So it comes a little outside of the rib cage and slightly across the midline of the body. One side might move a little different from the other. So don't feel like you have to mimic what was going on the other side. Just let this leg move in a way that feels pretty natural. Slightly across the midline and then over to the other side. Go for about 3 more passes. And then the next time your left knee is in your right hand, slightly across the midline of the body, breathe into the left front pocket of your jeans. Nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Bring that leg back in, and we're going to pull the right knee into meet. So both knees in towards the chest, but then we're going to send them up like legs up the wall, but keep a big generous bend in the knees. And then once you've got your legs up towards the sky, just the right leg, left leg's going to stay steady. Right leg is going to take a gentle shake. Just shake it as much as feels good. It can be a light and gentle shake instead of vigorous, so that we add a little bit of movement of the lymphatic system, but it doesn't tussle your belly too much. One more shake of the right leg, and then right leg's going to come to a steady position and the left leg is going to get a shake. Same thing on this side. It doesn't need to be extreme. It can be a really light and gentle shake so that we move the lymph, but we don't tousle the belly too much. All right, one more shake of that leg, and then with those legs up towards the sky, we're just going to do a nice generous point and flex of the feet. So keep your knees as bent as you like to, so that there's not too much tugging against the hamstring muscles or too much tugging against the backs of the knees, but move your ankles and your feet as much as you can. All right, one more point and flex to the feet, and then feet are going to be pointed or flexed. That's just going to be whatever feels just right to you. But now we're going to pump the legs. So you're going to bring your heels towards your butt and then push them back up towards the sky. Bend them down and then push them up, and go for about 3 more here. All right, and now once you've pumped your legs about 3 times, bend your knees, let your heels touch down to the ground, and then one opposite hand, opposite foot. So right leg, left arm are going to stretch out and away from each other with a little bit of a yawning reach, and then bring it back in. And now left leg, right hand are going to stretch out and away from each other with a little bit of a yawning reach. And then bring it back in. And now we're going to go both hands, both feet. So you're going to slowly walk both feet out, stretch both arms up and overhead, just create a little bit of length and reach. Take a big breath in, slow breath out, and then soften everything. Give your feet a little windshield wiper action. And now we're going to start to find our way up to a tabletop position. Now you might choose to rock and roll up, but it might also feel better to roll over to one side to find your way up. So take your time finding your way up, and then flip it around so that you're in a tabletop position, but no need to rush. And then once you've found your tabletop position, we'll take it into our little calves and kittens, but we're going to curl the toes under. So start by tucking your toes, and then, so calves and kittens being cat cow, but really small movement. Inhale, gently drop the belly, not too much. Exhale, round the back, but nothing extreme. Keeping the toes curled under the whole time. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, round your back. And we're going to go for about 10 cycles of breath. So just follow your breath's rhythm. There's no need to rush the pace. One more here. And then we're going to take it back a little bit. So you're going to keep the toes curled under. As you exhale and round your back, pull your bum back towards your heels, and then drop your elbows down. Scoop your heart forward. Lift up with a little bit of an arch of the back, and then round the back. Pull your butt back, elbows drop down, scoop the heart forward. So we're going to find a little bit of a fluid motion here, but go slow so that you pay attention to how your body feels. It doesn't need to be extreme to find a nice, gentle bit of work. Go one more time through. And then the next time your butt pulls back towards your heels, stay there for an extra cycle of breath. And then lift up, release your toes. And now we're going to walk it out to puppy pose. So release your toes, and then once your toes are released, walk your hands forward, arms as wide as you like them to be, but we're gonna go for a little bit of softness here. So position your arms so that your elbows can find the ground. And then once you've got your elbows touched down, see if you can let your forehead touch down to the ground. And then once you're here, you're going to do little micro nods of the head up and down. So we want our head to feel like it's connected to the yoga mat. And then you're just going to keep that little connection and gently nod your forehead up and down. Notice if you're holding tension in your jaw. Can you soften your jaw? All right, now we're going to keep our forehead connected to the yoga mat, but now you're going to do a little micro turn of the head from side to side. One more micro turn of the head from side to side, and then let the head come to stillness, soften everything. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. When you feel ready, come up nice and slow. And then we're going to flip it into Sukhasana or crisscross applesauce. So either crisscross your legs or just spin yourself around in a way that works good for you. But then once you've got your way into that Sukhasana, we're going to start with a light little twist to one side. So twist to your favorite side first, get nice and tall, but it doesn't need to be full range of motion. Just find a little bit of gentle twisting compression in the abdomen. And then imagine that you're breathing into the bottom of your rib cage. Now we're going to stay in this twisted position, but we're going to add a little bit of movement of the muscles of our face and our mouth. So we're going to make a little ooh-ee, like you're making the sound ooh-ee, but you don't have to make the sound. You just make the shape with your lips. So ooh-ee with your face in your mouth. Go for one more little ooh-ee here. And then let that come to stillness. Unwind your twist, come through center, take one cat-cow. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin. Exhale, round your back. Inhale to a neutral spine and then take your twist over to the other side. Find your twisted position first, get nice and tall. Breathe into the bottom of your rib cage. All right, now we're going to add that ooh-ee. So we're going to make that ooh-ee shape with our lips. One more little ooh-ee. And then when you're ready, unwind from your twist, come back to center, one cat-cow here. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin. Exhale, round your back. Inhale to a neutral spine. We're going to take it into easy seated forward fold. So we're going to hip hinge, walk yourself out just to a depth that feels good. We want to check the back, check the hips, check your knees, make sure it feels like a good, comfortable position. And then once you're there, breathe into the back of your, think about where your bra clasp would be. Breathe into that space. Take a nice, big, expansive breath. Now we're going to walk it off to one side. So make enough space that you can walk over to your favorite side first. Now finding just a little bit of stretch or stress feeling in the side of your body. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. When you're ready, come through center and then we'll walk it off to the other side. And then once you've found that other side, breathe into your rib cage. Nice big breath in. Slow breath out. When you're ready, walk it back through center. We're going to walk it up. So we're in that like folded position, but now we're going to create just a little bit of space. So there's space between the chest and the floor. Take your right hand, bring it to the back of your head, and we're going to take right elbow to left elbow pit. So we're going to add a little bit of thoracic spine rotation. elbow to elbow pit. And then on an exhale, lift the elbow up and look up towards the sky. And then bring that elbow towards your elbow pit. Exhale, lift it up towards the sky. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, lift it up towards the sky. And then find a neutral position. Set that hand down and we're going to switch to the other side. Left hand to the back of the head. Left elbow to elbow pit. Exhale, lift the elbow up towards the sky. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, lift it up. And then release, walk it out back to the deepest fold that you can find. So find your edge, take one good breath. And then walk yourself back in nice and slow and controlled. And then in our Sukhasana, we're going to bring both hands behind the head. I like a little basket weave to interlace my fingers behind the head, but you do whatever feels like a good handhold for you. Then now we're going to tuck the elbows in and round through the back of the body. So you're going to do that little bit of a cat-cow maneuver. So you're going to tuck the elbows in, tuck chin, round down. Inhale, lift your chest, pull the elbows back, lift your chin. Round and tuck the elbows in. Inhale, lift the elbows open wide, lift your chin. Exhale and round. Inhale to lift and open up. And then find a neutral position, release that interlace of the fingers, flip yourself back up to tabletop position, take your time. And then once you found that tabletop position, curl your toes under, pull your butt back towards your heels, a little stretch to the toes and the bottoms of the feet, take a breath. Now from here, we're going to lift up into downward facing dog, but we're going to go nice and slow. So start to peel your butt up, pick your knees up, lift your hips up, keep your knees generously bent, make a little bit of your weight back towards your heels a little bit more than in the upper body. And then once you've found your way here, let your head hang soft and heavy and just turn your head a little bit side to side. One more turn of the head side to side, and then keep that nice, big, deep, generous bend in the knees, but look forward. Slowly walk your feet up towards your hands, come to a really soft ragdoll fold. So we want a big space between our legs, a big, generous bend in the knees. If it feels available here, grab hold of your elbows. Let your elbows hang nice and heavy. Let your head hang nice and heavy. Notice the backs of your legs. Take a breath and imagine that you're breathing into the backs of your hamstrings. One more breath here. All right, now we're going to bend the right knee. Right hand's going to touch down to the ground. Left leg is going to straighten. Left hand is going to reach up towards the sky. Nice little twist. And then release that slow, fluid motion. Left knee is going to bend. Left hand down. Right leg straightens a little bit. Right hand is going to reach up towards the sky. And then we're going to keep that in a sort of a continuous motion. Right hand down. Right knee bends. Left leg straighten. Left hand reaches up. And then right at the edge of it, bring it back down. Switch it over to the other side. Bring it down nice and slow, taking your time. Go one more time through or even yourself out. And then with both hands back down on the ground, we're going to walk ourselves up nice and slow. So your hands are going to literally walk up your shins, up your knees, up your thighs. Take your time as you walk your hands up. And then once you've come up to standing, pause for a moment. Just let your blood pressure return to normal. Let your body have a moment to adjust. And then once you're up, we're going to take it into a light, gentle bounce. And we're going to bounce and we're going to shake just the right arm. So we're going to keep the bounce going. Shake your right arm. All right, now let your right hand come to a stillness, start to shake your left arm. Bounce your knees just a little bit. Doesn't need to be extreme. Bouncing can be good for our nervous system, can be good for our lymphatic system. Turns out it also can be good for our bone density, but we want to make sure that it feels good to the tummy as well. So make sure everything feels like it's just right. Doesn't need to be too much. And then if all is feeling good, we're going to keep the knees bouncing, and now we're going to shake it a little to the left and shake it a little to the right. So you're almost going to imagine that you're pulling that shake from one side to the other. One more time from side to side, and then we're going to bring it up and down. So you're going to shake your hands like you've got a little bit of water on your hands, and you're going to shake them up towards the sky and then shake them back down, and do about 3 times here. And then once you've done about 3 up and down, let the bouncing come to stillness. Step your feet slightly wider, and we're going to take it into our gentle shirt sleeve twist. So you're going to let your arms twist. You're going to let your feet and your knees pivot. All right, now we're going to take it up with the arms. So arms are going to wrap around the rib cage midsection. And now we're going to take it over the shoulder. So we're going to throw one hand up and over. All right, now the next time the right hand catches up and over, you're going to let that hand land there. Left hand is just going to relax out at your side. You're going to tuck the right elbow down, tuck your chin down to your chest. Take a nice big breath. Slow breath out. Keep that elbow tucked down. Keep the hand across the shoulder. Inhale, lift your chin up to the sky. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Inhale. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Keep the chin tucked down, but drop. Slow breath out. Lift your head. Now we're going to switch. So left hand's going to reach up, over, and across. Tuck the elbow down. Tuck your chin to your chest. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Now we're going to move with the breath. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, tuck down. Stay there with that chin tucked down, but now drop left ear over to left shoulder. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Bring your head back to a neutral position. Release your left arm, and then just give your shoulders a little shrug and a wiggle, and then step your feet in so you find your mountain pose. So toes and feet about hip width distance apart, toes and knees pointing fairly forward. And then just imagine that there's this sense of lightness, almost as if there's clouds lifting you up from the top of your head. So your feet are light on the ground, your legs are lightly lifting upward. There's a little bit of a light lift through the front of your body. Your arms are a little bit light as well, just gently laying down at the side of your body. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Just your toes. Inhale, lift your toes up. Exhale, let your toes float down. Now just the heels. Inhale, lift your heels up. Exhale, float your heels down. Now we're going to go with the arms. Inhale, lift your arms up, look to the sky. Exhale, hands through heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold down to the ground. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, plant your palms, step back to a downward facing dog. Take one breath there. Pick up your heels, lower your knees, come into tabletop position. Once you're in tabletop position, release your toes and then bop your hips a little bit side to side, like you're trying to drop your bum towards the ground. Take one more bop of the hips from side to side, and then we're going to spin it around and flip our way onto our back side. So you kick your legs around and find your way there in the way that makes the most sense to you. And then once you've come down onto your back, we're going to take right knee, right heel, a little external rotation, and rock the leg a little bit side to side. One more little rock from side to side, and then into your figure four. Let the right leg come across the left. Pause for a moment and just notice. And then if all is feeling good, lift your left leg up, thread your hands through, grab the back of your thigh, bring it in with a little bit of intention, and then move it out and away just a little bit. Bring it in nice and close, and then move it away. Bring it in nice and close, and then move it away just enough so you have some space. Now we're going to slide that right leg across like we're crossing our legs in a chair. Re-grab your shins or the tops of your feet. That's just whatever handhold works better for you. Pull your knees toward your heart and then move them away a little bit. Pull them toward your heart and then move them away. One more just like that. Pull them toward your heart and then move them away. Now we're going to add a head turn. So as you pull your knees toward your chest, turn your head to the right. Inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, turn your head to the left, knees towards your heart. Move it away back to the right. Exhale, turn your head to the right, pull the knees toward your chest. Inhale through center, back over to the left. Exhale, turn your head. Inhale as you release. One more time through. Right turn, exhale. Inhale through center. Left turn, exhale. Inhale back to center. Keep your head in that central position. Pull your knees towards your chest. Take one more breath. Awesome. And then slowly release. Unwind your legs. Right leg is going to touch down to the ground. Grab your left knee, grab your left heel, rock your leg a little side to side. All right, and then when you're ready, bring that left leg across the right. Pause for a moment just to make sure everything feels good. If that all feels good, lift your leg up, re-grab the back of your thigh or your shin, pull your legs a little bit closer to your heart, and then move them away. Pull them in nice and close. Move them away. Pull it in nice and close. Move it away. And now let your handhold go. Slide your left leg across your right. Come into that more shoelace position. Re-grab your shins or the tops of the feet. Pull your knees toward your heart. Move them away. Pull them toward your heart. Move them away. Pull them toward your heart. Move them away. And now we're going to add our head turn. So as you exhale, turn your head to the left. Knees come into your chest. Inhale, release through center. Exhale, turn your head to the right. Inhale, release through center. Exhale, turn your head to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, turn your head to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, turn your head to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, turn your head to the right. Inhale to center. Unwind your legs or uncross your legs, but we're going to go soles of the feet together and then we're going to circle the knees. So you're going to do those little butterfly circles just to kind of soothe out the hips. Circle in one direction, check on your back. One more circle around, and then when you're ready, reverse, go the other way. One more circle around. And then when you're ready, we're going to move it right into supine twist. You're going to hold onto your left knee, let your right leg go nice and long. Take that left knee over and across your body. Let your left arm open out nice and wide. Turn your head to the left. Take 2 more cycles of breath. But then before we release supine twist on this side, we're going to take the left hand and stretch it up above your head. Like think good morning stretch, but the left hip and the left hand are going to reach and extend away from each other. So as you inhale and reach your fingertips up, your hip is going to reach down. Take a nice big breath. And then when you're ready, exhale, soften, pull the left knee into your chest, bring the right knee into meet, hold onto your right knee, let your left leg go nice and long. Take supine twist over to the other side. Bring that knee over and across your body. Right arm opens wide, head turns to the right. One more breath here. But then before we release our twist, take your right hand and stretch it up above your head and then think opposite reach. So reach your hip away from your finger as you take an inhalation. And then when you're ready, exhale, soften, pull your right knee into your chest, bring your left knee into meet. Give yourself one last little squeeze, and then we're going to set those feet down onto the ground, and we're going to come back to our tiger pose. So you might even like a constructive rest with the legs, whatever you can do to reduce as much efforting as possible. And now we're going to come back to that circle or square, but starting from that upper right quadrant, over to the left, down to the left, and then over to the right. And then just take a couple of nice generous circles around. Go for about 3 more circles around, but before we release our little tiger paws, we're going to tap, tap, tap. So we're going to stay underneath the belly button line. You're going to start in the center, and you're going to gently tap, tap, tap your way out to your hip points, and then tap, tap, tap your way back in. So we're just going to stay in that little lower part of the abdomen, tap, tap, tap on the soft tissue all the way out to the front hip bones, and then come right back in. Go for about 3 more in and out, and then start to ask yourself, where would be your best Shavasana? Would it feel good to stay in a constructive rest and just let your body have as little effort as possible? Would it feel to take a little bit more legs up the wall, or any other shape of the body that might feel good? Give yourself a moment to find your way there. Also might feel good to roll over onto one side or flip over onto your belly. So anything that might just feel really nice and allow you to reduce as much efforting as possible. Soften your toes and the soles of your feet. Soften the space where your shoelaces would be, your ankles, your shins and your calves. Knees are soft and heavy. Thighs are soft and heavy. Reduce any tension around your hips. Let your belly be soft. The bones of the ribcage are softened to the ground. Shoulder heads are soft away from your ears. Arms, hands, fingers soft and heavy. Soften your jaw. Soften the back of your neck. Soften your eyes and the space between your eyes. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana just as long as you like. But if you feel ready to do so, start to gently reawaken. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Move your wrists and move your ankles. Maybe move your head a little bit side to side, just kind of tuning in and noticing, letting that aliveness feeling come back into your body. And then we're going to take a good morning stretch, but we're going to add a little bit of a side body work to happen with it. So you're going to let your legs go nice and long, let your arms come up above your head, but you're going to roll and pivot slightly onto one hip. So you're going to kind of dig into your, let's say, left heel, roll onto your right hip just slightly, and then find your big yawning stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes, take a nice big breath in. Exhale, soften, and then we'll pivot that slightly over to the other side. So you're going to pivot slightly onto your left hip, push into your right heel, inhale, find that length and reach. Exhale and soften, come back to center, and then both arms, both legs just in that center position. Inhale, reaching through your fingers, reaching through your toes. And then exhale, find that softness again, and then slowly and mindfully find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So take your time, there's no need to rush. And then once you've got your way up to that comfortable seated position, just give everything a second. Wiggle out your shoulders, find a little bit of alertness in the upper body, but a sense of softness to it. So soften your shoulders, let your arms be a little bit soft. And then we're going to do 3 little oohies with our face, just kind of make the muscles of our face move just a little bit. So 3 little oohies. And then once you've done those little oohies, we're going to take our 4 fingers and we're just going to take them right to the center of our brow and then push in just a little bit, drag out towards the temples. And then once you hit your temples, pick them up, bring them back in, push in just a little bit, drag out, pick them up and bring them back in, push into the center, drag out, pick them back up. And then your favorite thumb, doesn't matter which, you're going to put it right at that third eye center and you're going to put a little bit of pressure on and draw some generous circles. So we want to feel like the skin and the connective tissue is kind of moving with the thumb. And then if you're circling in one particular direction, reverse, go the other way. One more little circle around. And then when you're ready, release your thumb from your third eye center, prayer hands together in Anjali Mudra, and bow your head to your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and the time that you take to take care of yourself. And then breathe in some extra love and gratitude that you can carry with you through the rest of your day and share with anyone who might need it. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Thursday.